And welcome back to CentralCoastRadio.com. Well, one of the big movies out at the moment is a film that has a trailer that looks like a kid's film, but it is anything but a kid's film. It is the brand new film from Josh Greenbaum called Strays, which has talking dogs, but this is very, very much for adults. Uh, Kyle, you've joined me to chat a little bit
Yep.
about Strays. This is probably one of the most unusual movies of this year. It just kind of centers around a dog called Reggie, who is voiced by Will Ferrell, who is mistreated by his owner and then kicked out and meets another stray dog called Bug, played by Jamie Foxx. And then is introduced to some other stray dogs, including Maggie, played by Isla Fisher, and Hunter, voiced by Randall Park, and they go in search of his own old owner, Doug, played by Will Forte, and they go after him basically with one mission in mind: to bite off a part of his male appendage. That is Reggie's revenge that he has decided. Mate, this is such an unusual film. What did you think of Strays?
Yeah, I I I hate to say that I liked it as lowbrow as it was. It kind of struck me as one like that Sausage Party movie that came out a few years ago, that it's one that is traditionally in a style that's obviously done more for family films or whatever, but it's got such a hard adult rating to it. Um I I mean, myself, I'm a dog owner. I'm a dog lover. You're a dog lover. Like, we love our fur babies, and yeah, it really kind of was surprising to me. I think how well despite the like adult themes and the adult language all the way through it, how well I guess the the heart of the movie comes through. The vulgar, well, the vulgar language and potty humor and all that, it kind of still translates into this family movie framework.
Yeah.
Because I think, yeah, whether you're young or old, like, we all love our pets. And yeah, so at the kind of heart of this film is that innocence, and the kind of just the story of Reggie. Like, it's kind of sad. Like, Reggie's story is, it's played very much for comedy, is the bad relationship with Zona, but it's actually kind of sad that he's basically just a little dog that just wants its owner to love him, and I thought that kind of yeah, I thought that it kind of affected me on that level. I don't think, on some ways, I don't think that the adult content really fully. Well, I don't think that story really fully takes advantage of the adult rating. It feels like a movie that was planned to be a family film, and then they kind of changed it a little bit, added more swear words to it, added a bit more raunchy humor to it. Um, but at the same time, it works really well as a parody of films like A Dog's Purpose and Marley and Me. Like, it openly makes fun of those kind of movies throughout it.
Yep.
And I think that the kind of small voice cast did a really good job. I think Jamie Foxx was probably the star, even though Will Ferrell was kind of the star, but I think Jamie Foxx was probably the he really kind of stole the show, because I guess he hasn't really done, even though he started off doing a lot more comedy stuff, he hasn't done a lot of comedy stuff since becoming like Oscar winner Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, just his the Bug character, just this foul-mouthed, quick to anger, but like adorable little dog. Yeah, just hearing the foul things that little dog was saying, I don't know, I just kind of I thought that was hilarious. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. What did you think of it, David?
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I really, really fell for that story with Reggie and his owner, which I thought, like, even though Doug's a disgusting character, he was really
Mm,
well played by Will Forte. Um
mm,
but like, I grew up in a street where there was a guy at the end of our street that used to mistreat his dog. Like you'd see him
Mm.
kick the dog like when he was walking it, and the dog would always go back to him. And it's like I think I was reminded of that when I was watching this movie, that even though this movie is out for laughs, I think it also has a very strong message about abandoning pets and kind of what that kind of abusive relationship looks like from the dog's point of view. Like,
Mm.
um, there's times in this movie where, and I can't say any of the names on air because of like what
Oh
they
yeah,
are,
they what he calls them.
but where dogs think that that's their name because that's what they
Yeah.
get called, or oh, he gives me cute nicknames, like, and then yeah, like an expletive.
Yeah.
Like even like with my own dog, when she does something wrong and I have to like yell at her, like just discipline her for what she's done wrong, she'll come crawling back within 5 minutes, like with this sad
Mm.
look on her face of, oh, why did you just yell at me? Like, um, but it's like I think that in this movie is what really tugs at the heartstrings. And yeah, there was a few funny moments in this film that made me laugh as well. I thought there should have been more. I'm with you on that. I think that they needed to, if they wanted to make this an adult comedy, they needed to go all out with the
Mm.
comedy, and perhaps even push the boundaries even further than what they did. But I'm like you. I kind of looked at this movie and thought, what am I going into? But I ended up actually enjoying like large chunks of it throughout it.
Mm. Yeah, that's it. It really. I know it's one that I think a lot of people, a lot of film reviewers or whatever are going to watch it and just think like it's really it's really kind of a crappy movie. But yeah, I do think that there is kind of a level of heart to it that just comes from the basic human decency of being a pet lover. And I think that kind of transcends the the idea that at the end of the movie the goal is to basically cause genital mutilation on a dude.
Yeah, and like I think also it's actually good to see a filmmaker willing to try something a little bit different as well. Like while I was
Mm.
watching this movie, I started um to think about films over the last few years that have tried something different. I thought of stuff like the Happy Time Murders
Mm. Mm.
with Melissa McCarthy and Joel McHale, and I thought, well, that to me that film didn't work. But then I think of films like I always get this one wrong. The one where Seth Rogen and all of them play themselves on the last night on
Oh,
Earth.
this is the end, or
Yeah,
yeah.
like that film worked. But then
Mm.
when I try to think of comedies that have been out there that have tried to do something different, there's so many of them that don't work. So the fact that we're
Yeah.
even sitting here now and saying that Strays worked on some levels is a big plus, considering that it tried something different, like talking dirty dogs. Um like yeah, like I give credit to Josh Greenbaum just for attempting to do something different to what we're seeing, because there's so many comedies out there at the moment that are either not funny or B just do what other comedies have done. So I guess it was
Yeah.
kind of refreshing from that point of view as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. It kind of had it's I'm surprised that we haven't had more movies like this in that same way. Like more movies that kind of take on the framework of a more family friendly film, but really just kind of push the envelope and make them for adults.
Yeah, and like you said, I think the voice casting is works with this film too. Like I really liked Jamie Foxx. I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan. In fact, he annoys me in a lot of movies. So even the fact that I warmed to his character in this was a big plus. But I think we also have to like kind of pay tribute to Isla Fisher and Randall Park. They get really
Oh yeah.
overlooked with this film, but their characters are really, really interesting characters. In fact, I spent most of the movie trying to pick who was voicing Maggie. Like I could pick that
Yeah.
it was an Aussie, but I was like, who is this? Like, I had all these other Australian actresses names going through. It's like, well, Rose Byrne does comedy, but it doesn't sound like Rose Byrne. Yeah, so
She's voicing an alligator in
yeah.
something else.
But yeah,
Yeah.
finding like Isla Fisher doing it, and I think she did a pretty good job with it as well. And I think Randall Park did a good job voicing Hunter as well. So I think they got the voice cast right.
Mm.
Were you all right with those other choices?
Yeah, yeah. That's it's really a it's really kind of mostly focused on Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx's characters, but with the small other extra characters that come throughout it, I think yeah they did a fairly good job. I'm kind of liking seeing Randall Park in more things lately. I mean, he's usually uh kind of overlooked and stuff, but I thought like he's really funny in the Ant-Man movies, and I kind of missed him in the last one.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, yeah, it was good seeing him as pretty much one of the four main voice cast members of this film.
All right. So to wrap up, what are you going to give this one out of five and why?
I'm gonna give this 3 out of 5. I thought they could have done a lot more with it. Like I say, I don't think that they really took full advantage of the adult rating that they were going for. Like I say, Sausage Party, at no point would you think that Sausage Party was supposed to be a kids' film that got changed into something else. But this one, you can kind of think that maybe it was at one point supposed to be like a family-friendly film, and they decided to just change it. So yeah, I think in that way I was a little disappointed they didn't go all out with the I mean there's some pretty full on stuff, but I just think that story wise I think they could have gone a lot further than they actually did. But other than that, like I enjoyed it as far as just a fun little dog movie to with some swear words and mutilation in it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 5. There, like I said, there was parts of this film that I really loved. I love the bunny sequence because
Oh yeah.
that's something that my dog would do, not being on drugs. So yeah, I definitely had a huge laugh at that scene. But yeah, look, it worked for what it was. I think it could have pushed the envelope a little bit more when it came to the comedy, but yeah, for the most part, it worked. So that's our review for Strays. Kyle gave it 3. I gave it 2.5. It is on general release, so make sure you check your local cinema guide to see where it is screening near you. We'll be back in just a moment on centralcoastradio.com.